The smoke rose into the morning sky like a dark warning, thick and angry, and before anyone else could react, Elias Moore was already running toward it. The apartment building was burning fast, flames climbing the windows as if they were alive, and people stood frozen on the sidewalk, shouting, recording, praying. Elias did not stop to think about his own safety, the interview folder still tucked under his arm, his best shirt already streaked with ash. All he could hear was a desperate cry from inside the fire, a sound that cut through him deeper than fear. That single moment would change his life in ways he could never have imagined. If you believe that kindness creates second chances and that one brave act can change everything, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Dreams Journal, because stories like this are proof that humanity still matters. Elias was 28, unemployed for nearly a year, and carrying the quiet weight of disappointment everywhere he went. That morning was supposed to be his turning point. He had a job interview downtown, the kind that could finally pull him out of the cycle of rejection emails and sleepless nights. He had woken early, shaved carefully, and chosen the one suit he still owned, hoping today would be different. As he walked past the apartment complex, the fire alarm screamed into the bright daytime air, and instinct took over before logic could stop him. Inside the building, the heat was crushing. Smoke blurred the hallways, sunlight fighting its way through broken windows. Elias followed the sound of coughing and fear until he found Marina Hale, trapped near a stairwell, her face smeared with soot, her eyes wide with panic. She was struggling to breathe, frozen by terror. Elias wrapped his jacket around her head, guided her step by step through the smoke, and shielded her as burning debris fell around them. His lungs burned, his heart pounded, but he did not let go until they stumbled back into the daylight together. By the time firefighters arrived, Elias collapsed onto the pavement, shaking and coughing, his interview clothes ruined, his resume folder lost somewhere in the chaos. Marina was alive, sitting on the curb, wrapped in a blanket, tears streaming down her face as she stared at the stranger who had pulled her out. Elias barely noticed. All he could think about was the ticking clock and the opportunity slipping away. When the adrenaline faded, reality returned, heavy and unforgiving. He had missed his interview. Again, life had chosen the worst timing. Hours later, Elias stood in the lobby of a glass office building, trying to look presentable despite the faint smell of smoke clinging to him. He had decided to show up anyway, hoping for mercy, knowing how unlikely it was. The receptionist gave him a polite but doubtful smile, and Elias felt the familiar sting of humiliation. He sat down, hands folded, rehearsing apologies in his head, expecting to be turned away. The waiting area was bright with afternoon light, calm and quiet, a sharp contrast to the chaos of the morning. When the elevator doors opened, Elias barely looked up at first. Then he felt something shift in the air, a strange pull that made him lift his head. A woman stepped out, composed, confident, her hair neatly tied back, her presence commanding without effort. Elias recognized her instantly, even without the soot and fear. It was Marina. She walked across the lobby, her eyes locking onto his, shock and recognition spreading across her face. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Marina approached him slowly, emotion visible in every step. She had been scheduled to oversee interviews that day, one of the senior decision-makers in the company. The woman he had saved from a fire that morning was now standing in front of him, alive because of his courage. Marina had not forgotten the hands that pulled her from the smoke, the stranger who risked everything without hesitation. Seeing Elias there, waiting quietly despite everything, moved her deeply. She asked the receptionist to give them a moment, and the story spilled out in her mind like a movie replaying in daylight. The fear, the heat, the way Elias never let go. In that instant, the interview stopped being about resumes and qualifications. It became about character. Elias was invited into the interview room, his nerves replaced by a strange calm. He did not exaggerate or boast. He spoke honestly about his struggles, his setbacks, his determination to keep going even when things went wrong. Marina listened, not just as an executive, but as someone whose life had been directly touched by his selflessness. She saw a man who did the right thing when no one was watching, when there was nothing to gain. As the afternoon sun shifted across the room, the decision became clear. Elias left the building later that day not just with a job offer, but with a renewed sense of purpose. He had walked into the fire expecting nothing in return, and yet life had found a way to reward his humanity in the most unexpected way. Before this story ends, take a moment to comment something meaningful below, even a single word, to honor the power of kindness and unseen courage. In the days that followed, Elias often thought about how close he had come to losing everything that morning, and how easily he could have chosen to walk away. Marina never forgot either. Their lives had crossed for only a few hours, but the impact lasted far longer. It was a reminder that sometimes the moments that delay us are the ones that prepare us for something greater. If this story touched your heart, inspired you, or reminded you to believe in second chances, please engage with this video by liking, sharing, and subscribing to Dreams Journal. Your support keeps stories like this alive, and your kindness might be the reason someone else finds hope today.